Hey everybody, it is project day, and Karen's actually working on something on my day off, so I'm able to film it and show you guys. What are we doing?
Well, we got this massive light stand.
It's an antique light standard from our city.
Found it on Marketplace.
Got it for 50 bucks.
Yeah.
And it's a real light standard that used to be in our city, like outside.
Outside of probably some sort of, I don't know, government building is my thought. Probably they would have something like that, but our city doesn't really treasure the old buildings, so they're quite quick to tear them down. So I don't know what happened. I don't know which building, but anyway, here it is. Yeah, it was $50.
But it's rough.
And I messaged the guy and I was like, be right there.
Also, someone who owned this before us pre-wired it to plug into regular AC power, so that's nice.
So there has been a repair that you can see here that hasn't, I sanded it a bit, but there's a lot to go, and I'm gonna try and fill it a little better. But like you can see here, I sanded off, like there was big drips of glue. I don't know what happened. Like,
and then somebody used like expanding foam to try to, so you already started a little bit on this, and I was like, whoa. Yeah. Let's film this one. So, and then underneath we can see it's like aluminum.
I think so, because it's not extremely heavy. Yeah, and you can see here, it's just some kind of pot metal. It's not, you know, a valuable metal, but it's not really heavy, so that's what makes me think it's probably aluminum. So I'm going to sand the whole thing and then touch this up. I'm going to use spackling, but it dries quick, so I'm just going to sort of cover the break and then try and feather out so that it's not a big ridge, because it's not put together perfectly. So
right.
Yeah, so I'm going to do that. Then we have to put just a base coat, so this is just brown, and then we're going to do the bronze paint like we did with St. Anthony. And so we're gonna do a couple coats of paint of that, and then we're going to spray it, oxidize it like we did the other one.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool, but it's a lot of work.
It is gonna be a lot of work.
And in case anybody's like, why are you doing this in your living room? Because this thing is so tall.
It's 9 feet tall. It barely fits in our living room.
Yeah, and the globe, you see there, so that goes on top. So our basement ceiling isn't this tall.
No.
Because I know that we're going to get that question. Why would you do that in your living room? But because we just don't have enough
This
space.
is the only place we've got to do it.
We've got plastic and stuff, and right now I'm just sanding, and it's not going to be an issue.
By the way, you guys will have to excuse our squeaky 100-year-old wooden floors.
Yeah, you can't. No one's sneaking up on us in here.
All right.
Yep.
Let's get to it.
Okay. So to get in the grooves, this helps. Otherwise you have your finger and you would wear your finger out really quick. So what I did is I just wrapped it around, because this is just foam and there's no sandpaper on this side. So I just took a regular piece, wrapped it around so that I can kind of get inside these grooves. The detail on this base, these ram's heads and this kind of coat of arms, it's just so nice. But it's kind of washed out from the paint. Once we oxidize it, that'll really bring out the details. But I have to rough up the details here. And anything glossy, paint does not like gloss, and it doesn't like dirt. So once I finish sanding this, I'm gonna have to wash it and get it all kind of cleaned up and stuff before any paint can go on. Otherwise the paint won't stick. Yeah, prep is so important, you guys. You'd hate to spend all this time painting and everything to have the paint just flake off. And that's what will happen if you don't prep properly. So as much as I don't like sanding, and most people don't, it's very important. Okay, so you can see here, I'm almost done on this side, but you can see how much of the paint came off with the sanding. And so that would eventually, if I had just painted over this, the paint would have stuck to that paint, but then that paint would flake off. So now there's your paint job gone, because paint will stick to other paint, but if that paint's not stuck, eventually your paint job will fail. So if you can see on this side, you see how much paint is where I haven't, like I sanded here, but see I haven't sanded over here. See, it looks like it's okay until you see where. So once I'm done sanding, then I'm gonna get a brush and wash all this, because there's quite a bit of dirt, like you can see, like just from sanding even, but the paint won't stick to that. Okay, so now we're gonna address this somewhat poorly repaired crack. I mean, they repaired it so it's staying together, but there's like a bit of a ridge on this side, like the bottom protrudes more than the top, and then on the other side, of course, it's the other way around.
Right.
So what I'm gonna do is just give it a wipe. Get the dust off. And this is what I'm going to use. Spackle. But you could even use like drywall repair and stuff, but it's a little bit softer. So I'm just going to use my finger to do it, because I need to get in between all of this stuff. So I'm going to put coating so that I'm going to try and even it out. This might take more than one application, but so that I can, when I sand it, the ridge is more gradual and it's not so obvious. Okay, so we'll let that dry and then we'll sand it. Okay, well, it feels dry, so I'm going to do some sanding here. There's a couple of spots that I didn't quite get it right. I didn't quite get enough filler. So I'm going to add a little bit more and then wait again and sand it until I get it how I like it. So unfortunately, like that bump is always going to be here, but I'm trying to minimize the appearance of it by blending. So it's not just a straight cut, that it'll just sort of blend into the top piece. So it's still going to be there, but just not as noticeable. Okay, I think that's going to be good. Now I'm going to get a damp cloth and wipe the majority of it, and then also get a little brush so I can get in between the details. Okay, now I'm gonna do the like details and stuff on the bottom here. I'm just using this regular window cleaner and spray it down, and you'll be able to see like all the dirt run down. You see? So that helps get in behind some of the stuff with the Windex, but then I want to get into some of the crevices and stuff with a brush. So that's what I'm going to do here, is spray some on the brush. So I can get into all these little nooks and crannies. Now I'll wipe some off. And I'm still going to have to let it dry. And just go back over if you missed a spot. Looks like I did there, but it's hard to say. We've sanded it all and washed it all. So now next step, I'm just gonna paint this whole thing. It's gonna look like a big pillar of chocolate.
Nice.
Remember when St. Anthony looked like chocolate?
Yeah, I do. Big chocolate St. Anthony.
It looks
it's like great for Easter.
Yeah. Best Easter presents ever.
Yeah.
Well, we got the base coat on. And now we're ready for the first coat of the metallic paint. So I just got it right here. It's pretty cool looking, actually. That's totally stirred. That's just what it looks like, because that's all the metal flake in there. I am just going to start at the top and work my way down. Well, that's the first coat. I'm gonna probably put, I think, 2 more with this paint. Usually you probably only need 2 coats if you're just doing regular paint, but this is the special stuff, and that acid kind of eats it away, so then it looks thin. But I think 3 coats will be perfect. So we'll wait for this to dry and put the second coat on. Okay, here we go with coat number 2. Number 3. Okay, now that we have 3 coats of paint on here, it's time for the acid treatment.